Watch me a wind up me body, yeah. Watch me a move up me body, yeah. Watch me a wind up me body, yeah. Watch me a move up me body, yeah. Wind up, girl, up, wind up your body. 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 Me and me friends really come fit on up the party. Watch me a wine and I get naughty. I sick back me love not to drink Hennessy. Watch me a wine and I get naughty. Party turn up, party turn up. Watch me a wine and I get naughty. Party turn up, party turn up. Watch me a wine and I get naughty. Hold on there. Watch me a ride the rhythm. One foot up na the air.
Hey there, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Art School Rejects.
Yeah.
And on today's show, we have special guest Amy.
Woo!
And special guest James.
Returning guest.
Hello.
Yes, he is a returning guest.
I'm back, you guys.
And we have Carlos.
What's up, guys?
And Shane, who's myself. And on today's lovely episode, we're going to be talking about the John Carpenter movie, They Live. I think that movie came out in like 1988, right?
I was 8.
You were 8? Damn.
Yeah.
And I would have been -4.
-4. Nice.
Okay.
You were incubating at that time.
Oh, man.
We're filling in all of the demos.
Wait a second, how old are you again?
I'm pushing 40, so I'll be 38 at the end of this year.
All right, so you're out of the coveted 18 to 35.
Definitely out of the coveted demo of the 18 to 35 age range. That
Newly kicked out.
Damn. I'm sorry, man.
newly abandoned. Those Hot Pocket commercials are not
Not for you.
they're not. Yeah, they're not geared towards my ilk.
Damn.
Aw.
And
And all you have are like nostalgic YouTube videos.
oh yeah,
Like of commercials of those times. Like
Yeah.
Go-Gurt.
Go-Gurt.
What was the name of that one ball that you put around your ankle? You had to like skip it.
Skip it, yeah. You had to skip it.
Yeah.
Ball you had to skip over. It's called Skip It.
Hey now kids, come gather round. See what just skipped into town. But the very best thing of all, there's a counter on this ball. So skip it, skip it.
It was a weird time.
Oh yeah, that was like the end of the Cold War, right?
It was the end of the oh man, the wall.
Yeah.
Ball.
Build that wall. Oh wait, sorry.
No,
Sorry, that's today.
tear
That's
down
a
the
different
wall. That's a different
wall.
wall. No, the Berlin Wall. Yo, no, it was big. Like we actually like paused class to watch it like come down.
You hit the button that looks like 11. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's YouTube video of this one girl and she has like counting cards and she's going through her numbers and she gets up to 10 and then she gets 11 and she says pause instead of 11 because it looks like,
I like that.
pause. So anyway, continue please.
It's actually pretty great.
So your school was on pause.
My school was on 11.
Yeah.
And we watched the Berlin Wall go down. It was pretty epic. I remember it was like I don't remember that much, but I remember it was like mad important.
Mm.
But I didn't watch They Live until very recently. So I didn't, even though like that came out back then, like I didn't watch it until very recently. I've seen like many John Carpenter movies.
Like
The Thing, Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China.
Christine is always the one that people forget.
Christine. Oh, I think I know about Christine.
That's the car, right?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. Did he do? What about Cujo?
I don't think that was-
Cujo is not him.
that's
No.
not-
Okay. I remember those when I was little, but I think I was a little bit too scared to watch them. What's great now is that I can watch them with Saiyan though, like all these like old movies from back then.
Yeah, I didn't mean to ask. What do you think?
He was into it. Yeah, I think he liked it a little bit more than I did.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about this.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, it sounds like you have reservations about the film that like I want to hear about. I mean, we don't.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Like-
it's kind of like it's not like a great movie.
No. It's just that it's not something that you hear a lot of back and forth about in terms of its quality. Mostly when They Live comes up in conversation, it's about how it's a prescient film that still speaks to what's going on today. So,
Well, that is all true. It's true politically, but it is in the vessel of like a bad movie,
okay.
which is commendable. You know, I definitely am on board with the the anti-capitalist agenda, but the delivery system is kind of like a B movie with like some really bad acting by noted champion of the professional wrestling world, Roddy. Is it
Rowdy Piper?
Roddy Piper, like twice.
Roddy Piper.
Yep.
Okay, is it Rowdy Piper?
No.
Rowdy.
No. His
Roddy.
name is Roddy, and then Rowdy is just a nickname.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's Roddy Piper, who is also a rowdy person.
Yes.
He's not that rowdy in this movie.
Oh, he gets rowdy for no
He's
reason.
pretty rowdy.
He gets kind of rowdy, but he's
got a very sincere, earnest, like puppy doggish way about him, which actually kind of helps his character in the early going, especially when he's like thoroughly bought into this notion of the American dream and working hard enough will get you what you want if you just play by the rules. And especially when he's bouncing off Keith David, who's just like, screw it, I don't have the patience for it. This is all crap. Like, he's not a particularly experienced actor, but he does pretty well. He's
definitely not an experienced actor.
I mean, he's a wrestler, man. He's a good wrestler.
Okay, so here's the thing. I haven't seen this movie, so it's important that we go through the beats on this one. Because
Okay.
I only know, like, you're talking about deep, meaningful things about this movie, and me, I just know that one fight.
That epic fight that was like 27 minutes long.
Yeah.
It was 6 minutes. When I watched it, I timed it. It was 6 minutes and like 38 seconds.
Did you have a stopwatch?
Oh no, I'm just watching it and going 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 127.
Yeah, you're like
28,
1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000.
Exactly.
That fight was awesome. Like,
Probably the most unnecessary fight scene in a movie ever.
I don't know. It's kind of known for that, though.
because you gotta kind of think about it. Keith David's character is like, no, dude, I don't want to put on your shades. You are a terrorist, a murderer. Because I mean, sorry, to spoil it, but at this point in the movie,
spoiler alert, by
Roddy
the way.
Robs-
Anybody
spoiler
that's
alert.
listening.
Well, we have to do it because James doesn't know. But at this point in the movie,
No, let's kind of take a step back. And James, essentially, aliens have infiltrated Los Angeles.
yes,
Okay.
And it's implied the world at large.
Yeah, but we don't know that really at first. What we know is like basically just like downtown LA. There's like some fuckery going on. And it has to do with aliens, and they look like normal people. But with the assistance of these magic glasses,
sunglasses.
magic
Sunnies.
sunglasses. They're not magic. It wasn't like a spell. Like there is a scene.
They just probably
That's
have
like-
like a special chemical on them that
Yeah, like-
deactivates the
They're
transmission.
like Clark's
which is-
third law of glasses. They're basically indistinguishable from magic glasses.
Okay.
No, but there
So-
is like a scene where he's like walking through the church of the, like there's like a resistance that knows about these aliens, and they've like invented these glasses, but he walks past the glasses as they're being made, and there's like a chemical set, like a chemistry set next to it. So it's like, so it implies that like if you mix like, you know, 2 parts of this and a part of that, like it creates a chemical that you can put on top of like a UV coating, basically.
Oh, just give him a little spritz.
Yeah,
spritz.
so a little spritz.
something of that sort.
So they're not exactly magic. There's like some science behind it, I guess. Loose.
So
Some loose science is sprayed on some glasses.
pretty much it allows for him to see the world that actually exists. And at this time, he sees like, you know, if you look at a magazine, it'll look like Sports Illustrated, right?
Illustrator.
Right.
To us normally, but then as soon as he puts on the
Adobe
the
Sports Illustrator.
it's just like subliminal messages as in like obey, buy,
Marry and reproduce.
Oh, man.
right? And pretty much it's just like all these different things of us being controlled that we're just seeing, like we're not seeing the actual subliminal messages that are being pumped to us.
Sure. This is subliminal.
So
Yeah.
he goes through his whole awakening, right? And throughout that, he realizes that, you know, that the aliens do live among us. You know, they're just regular people. So he gets into an altercation with like the cops, and he kills them. And from there, he goes into like a bank, and like he kills like a bunch of people, like just the aliens,
like
right?
7 people, I think he killed.
Yeah, like 7 people. Which he also does say his famous line. Was it?
I am here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Yep.
Wow.
Perfect.
This is where that came from?
You actually delivered it like 10 times better than he did. It was like that was like the most wooden line I've ever heard. Like,
And it's funny because the line is his. So what happened was on the day of shooting, he handed John Carpenter this 3-page thing of lines that he would use in the ring when he's like trying to hype up a fight, and that was one of them. So
yeah. So he wrote it
So
himself.
he badly delivered his own line that he uses to hype the crowd?
basically,
Yeah.
That's insane.
But that line right there is the staple of this movie because everyone remembers that line for this movie.
Oh, I was hoping you meant that he just says it a lot.
No, he just says
No,
it
he
once.
just says it
So,
once.
actually, I got a question for you guys about that because I think you
Okay.
all have probably played more video games than I do. I also know that Duke Nukem basically appropriated that phrase for it. Do you know it more from that, or do you know it more from They Live?
I know it more.
I feel
from,
like that a bunch of things have appropriated that phrase.
Yeah.
True, but I think it was most brazenly done in Duke Nukem.
So to bring it back to the fight, Keith Davis' character doesn't know that Piper can see these things. So Piper finds Keith David on the construction site that they're working on, and Keith was like, "Dude, you're a terrorist! Like, blah blah blah! Like, what are you doing here? You know, get away from me! Like, I can't help you. I can't be seen with you here. You know, whatever." So that's just painting the story of Keith David's perspective. So they meet up in an alleyway, and Piper has the glasses, and he's like, "Bro, you need to see this shit, bro. Like, put on these glasses." And at this point in Keith David's mind, he's like, "Yo, this guy is crazy. He just shot up a whole bunch of people. Like, what the hell is he talking about?" A little bit of exchange of words happen. Piper gets a little bit too close or says something too slick. Keith just pops him in the face. And then that's when the whole 6-minute fight happens. So
I feel like if I were dealing with a terrorist and he was like, "You're my friend, put on these glasses so you can see like I do," and I think they're just crazy, I feel like I just put on the glasses and be like, "Yeah, you're right." Instead of hitting him, the person who is now a mass murderer, I would just be like, "Sure, I'll wear your glasses. Thanks, man. Deuces, I'm out."
Actually, it's good that you bring that up because there's another character in that film. It's she's like part of the television station that's broadcasting the signal, and Roddy Piper uses her character as a way to like get out of this parking garage, and he ends up going back to her house, and he's trying to convince her to put on the glasses, and she says something to the effect of, "Even if I don't see what you see, I'm gonna tell you that I see it." Like she's basically saying, "You're fucking crazy, and I'm just gonna do whatever you want."
oh my God.
Yeah.
No, you're so right. But that one scene, how she like, oh God.
She like
How she like takes him
knocks
out.
him off a 5-story building.
Oh my God, bro. I'm sorry, James.
It's okay,
It was
guys.
classic.
It's okay. I haven't seen it. I'm not mad at you. It was made when I was 2, and I still haven't seen it. It's not your fault.
No, but I'm saying like I wish like you just seen it because it was perfect. She set him up and she got him close to like a window and she pretended like she was getting a drink and she like backhand spins and like cracks a bottle over his head and like he flies through like her window like 5 stories down. He rolls down the hills of Hollywood.
Oh man.
You can definitely tell like the construction man in him. Like if he didn't have that, he would never have lived.
Yeah, he did like he got up off of that fall like
he's used to it.
Yeah, like in not bad shape. Like I would have definitely had like at least one broken bone, like minimum. And he seemed to like not have anything broken. Maybe like a rib, but nothing like like nothing that's gonna like stop him from kind of going about. This guy Roddy Piper, did you know his name was Nada?
Yeah.
No. I watched the whole movie.
I mean, it's
and
not...
at the end of the movie, it's like the credits roll, and it's like Roddy Piper as Nada, and I was like, "What?"
I think that's weak. I don't think he has a name.
In the context of the film, he doesn't have a name, but and my guess is that was deliberate to just kind of make him seem anonymous, like
Yeah.
the everyman.
Like an everyman.
Yeah. Because no one actually says his name. Like, even his friend is like, hey, bro, like, what are you doing here?
Kind of a weird name, though.
No, I think it's just like they.
I think it just means nothing.
Yeah, it's just like nothing. You know, I don't think that was like his actual.
Spanish.
Yeah, they thought they were being funny. They were like, let's just write nada. And they all had a good laugh about it because it was 80s and cocaine.
Yeah, true. Amy, do you know any like background on that?
I'm pretty sure that that comes from the short story that this is based off of. It's called 8 o'clock in the morning by this guy named Ray Nelson. It was also adapted for a comic book. So, yeah. Nope, his name's George Nada in the short story.
Oh, well, there you go.
See, George Nada. Okay, so but they just put his last name on the credits, which I thought was really weird. He's just kind of like a drifter guy. So he's like,
wait a second. Wait. So he's also a drifter?
No, not the motorsport.
No,
not the
I mean,
motorsport.
I know not the motorsport.
James knows what I'm talking about.
Like, look, man. Look, Initial D was not here yet, okay? We know. It's fine. I'm just saying that, like, it's so much worse if you're a crazy person. Like, he's a crazy person who had friends or whatever in the movie, but, like, if he just, like, wandered into town and put on some glasses and suddenly he's soft.
He literally just wanders into town. It reminded me of, like the first Rambo. Like, when, like, Rambo is just, like, it didn't say he was a Vietnam veteran, but I got, like, some strong Vietnam veteran vibes from his character, Roddy Piper.
Oh, okay.
I know it's said in the film that he worked for about 10 years in some sort of industry in Denver that had, like, just gone under. So
yeah, like, he's out of work because of, like, sticking it to, like, the little guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Like all the the robots are doing his job now, I guess.
So this could have been like a Oscar-winning drama if they'd have spun it right, huh? Like, just real sad.
A lot of stuff would have had to change, I think. Yeah. But he's definitely like a working class dude that is like down on his luck and is like sleeping in the park now. And I kept on imagining, like, if there was the remake of this movie, if they just made it with like burners. Like he's like, oh, I'm just back from Burning Man and I'm just like living in like Hippie Hill now, and they all have like their backpacks with like sleeping bags like on them.
Sure.
Yeah. They usually have like a dog for some reason
and a skateboard
and like a skateboard maybe, and like yeah
man. First time when I first moved to LA, I actually met a group of people like that, and it freaked me out because it took a few hours before I realized none of them had anywhere to live because they were all barefoot and had backpacks, and there was a dog and there were skateboards. We were just like hanging out on the beach, man, and then I was like, oh, this is weird. I gotta go.
Yeah. Well, he's not quite that type of homeless person. He's more of like a working class guy. He has his own tools.
He's a blue-collar homeless man?
He's a blue-collared homeless man.
He's looking for work, going to where the work is.
Sure.
Living paycheck to paycheck.
And this takes place where?
In LA.
LA.
He had no money, so he went to like a crazy expensive place to look for work. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if you live in a park, everywhere's cheap.
Yeah. Well, it's like he finds like an enclave of like homeless people. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's not funny. I'm just like, I'm sure this is like, I'm just 100% in my mind. I haven't seen this movie, so I'm putting together a theory where this is all a fever dream.
Yeah, like you're coming at it from the point where like this guy's actually crazy.
Yes. That's exactly what I'm doing.
And he's like, this is all just like inside the mind of like some guy that lives in the park.
Yeah.
The whole thing. Like that's the theory that I've not heard yet, but it definitely makes sense. I'm open to this theory.
Yeah, because I mean, I haven't seen this movie. Like, just imagine somebody telling the story to somebody else that they know in the movie universe, right? And it's just like, so this dude who lived in a park went crazy and said a bunch of people were monsters from another planet and that everything was subliminal messages, and he just started killing. With no context.
Yeah.
I'm not the movie audience. I'm just hearing this story like, oh, man.
You left out the fact that he had like a wicked mullet.
He had a wicked mullet and sunglasses. This guy was purely on the level. He knew what was up.
He definitely has like a Joe Dirt, like.
He's cracking me up way more than this shit. I'm sorry.
No, I like this theory actually. The more like we talk about it, the more I'm on board. Because like of course like a crazy homeless person is gonna be like totally anti-capitalist.
And he's going to come up with some crazy theory about the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, explain why, you know, he has to explain why he is down on his luck like the way he is. And it has all to do with the, you know, the 1%.
Which that's actually one of the more interesting conceits of the movie, is that you have the richer people, you have the richer Earthlings that are kind of in league with the aliens. And towards the end of the movie, Roddy Piper and Keith David's characters keep getting offers to like, you can get a taste of the good life too if you just kind of go with it and be part of our group. And when he's called on it, one of them says, "What's the problem? We sell out every day."
Yep. No, that was kind of deep in the sense.
Well, it's what's like the guy from the Matrix that's like Cypher. Yeah. So he's like he knows that the Matrix exists, but he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna be rich in the Matrix and like eat this delicious steak, even though I know it's not real.
No, but I mean, it gets deeper because the aliens, what they pretty much do is they kind of have Earth as a place that they're just utilizing like their resources, you know, and just taking it all back. And in the meantime, what they're doing is, you know, making Earthlings feel like they're important by making them have more money or the couple percentage that actually knows, but it's really just a facade. They're all taking back whatever. And there's this like hacker dude, which is kind of funny to use the word hacker because
he's like a TV hacker.
All it was he was like breaking the transmission because in their LA, I guess they only had like one station. I mean, granted, this is 1988, so I could imagine that there's only one station. So
no, there was more than one channel.
Nah, there's only one, bro. I seen it. So what they were doing as well, James, is that they were pumping the message, right, throughout the television and stuff like that. The guy would just come on there and say like all these things, like just ramble like on every now and then, be like, oh, they're taking back all this, blah, 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 blah. They're making the world hotter so that it's more to their climate and, you know, all this type of jazz. The funny thing is that if you kind of think about that perspective and you look at how today is, where you have like the top % of people who really don't care for like the layman man, where they're just making like working class and the poor people just into slaves. And you think about it like now, it kind of
it's a perfect analogy. That's like
exactly
for sure. Like that's not my issue with it. You know, like I definitely feel like the message is on point.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said for a message like that that's delivered in the context of an entertaining action movie.
No, it's just I think I kept on thinking like, yo, did Kurt Russell die for like 1 year in like 1980? Was he just dead from like 87 to like 89? Because this is Kurt Russell's movie. I mean, didn't they do like 7 movies together, him and John Carpenter? Like, what was like?
Yeah, he had done a couple around that time, and I think that might have been the reason that he wasn't involved in this one.
Like the whole first half of the movie is almost like a silent film. Like there's very little speaking parts for like the first like 30 minutes. And I think that that's not by accident. I think it's just like this guy is like not great at delivering lines. So let's just like have him walk around and just kind of see what's happening for like the first 30 minutes.
But I don't kind of think that's the case. I think it was better showcasing that you saw the context clues within those 30 minutes of him just walking around. You know, it showcased the actual time frame of the movie. You know, what was happening, how certain little cues, like when he walked by that one appliance store, how there's that one guy who's just locked on television, just with his mouth open, just looking at it, you know, and just feeding off of it, you know. But it's just, that's regular day,
the boob tube
type of stuff, you know, that we walk around and we see people are just stupidly connected to.
Now it's on their phones.
Infrastructure.
So it's
now people are on their phones. So I think that, you know, by showcasing that part in the movie, it helps you, because at this point you don't know that there's
you're getting like a sense
like
of
how the world is, you know. So I mean, like, as we did say, that's pretty much how the world is today's time, where everyone is on their phone. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and all these type of jazzes, you know, listening to podcasts, you know, and which is not a bad thing to do. Art School Rejects, you know where you can find us on iTunes and SoundCloud. But
well, you know, like,
yes.
the funniest part of this whole movie, like when he actually puts on the glasses, he like sees the aliens true form.
Yeah,
like he does, like his immediate reaction isn't like, oh my god, these are aliens, and like the implications of that are so vast. Like what that means exactly, if that was the case, you know, like having that moment of realization, he just like, he kind of like flames this lady in a grocery store.
Your head looks like it fell in the cheese dip in 1957.
Yeah, like his biggest problem with the aliens is how ugly they are.
Really?
It seemed kind of weird. Yeah, like very like, right. It seemed like very superficial. Like he was very focused on the fact that they were like they were not attractive.
You're so ugly, you must be evil. Disney logic, son.
They're different though. Well, I mean, because I took it more as in from the initial time that he had the run-in with that one guy, when he was like, wait, this guy doesn't look human. And then he goes into the store and then he starts to see that they're just aliens just doing regular human people things, talking about like brunch and all this type of jazz. And then he finally talks up to his old lady. I think she says something to him or something like that.
Like she's just kind of snotty with him and says, "Excuse me."
Yeah, she was just like a rude ass old rich white lady. Were all the aliens white only?
Well, from what we've seen, I think so.
It's white people. Just to say, I took a second to look up what Kurt Russell was doing during this time period. So it was Big Trouble in Little China in 86, and then Overboard 87, Tequila Sunrise 89. He put out a movie every year, and sometimes two.
Yeah. No, he was like steadily working. But I guess he was, he just didn't have, I don't know. Like, I want to know, like, the background and, you know.
IMDb says that he didn't want to cast Kurt Russell for another part since he'd already done it 3 times.
Oh, okay. I mean, why not go for, he's not, you know, might as well.
He already got the hat trick. He's good.
No, I mean, I'm actually happy that he didn't, because then it would really, all those movies would kind of blend in.
There's something else about the casting of Roddy Piper that kind of works for this character, and that's that he's not in control of any of it. With Kurt Russell, in a Kurt Russell performance, you feel like he's in control, even if he's not.
Yeah.
Like Death Proof, for example.
Because he's very capable.
Exactly, but Roddy Piper just looks out of his depth from the word go, and
definitely.
I mean, that kind of works, right?
No, I don't think he was acting.
Yeah.
No, he probably wasn't. It's like Kubrick casting Ryan O'Neal and Barry Lyndon exactly because he's not a very good actor and just looks stiff and uncomfortable.
I don't know I'm not sure if it worked for me.
Okay.
Yeah. But I like Keith David. I mean, I'm a big fan of Keith David. Spawn.
He did Spawn. He is
the voice of Spawn.
The voice of Spawn.
He was in Dead Presidents, which is like one of my all-time favorites.
I'm looking at his filmography. He's the dad, and he's Cameron Diaz's dad in There's Something About Mary, which I keep forgetting.
No, Keith David's like, I mean, you could even go. He's done like Something About Mary, and he also did Requiem for a Dream.
Yep.
He pretty much has like That is all the range right there.
Oh man, I don't like talking about that movie.
A lot of people don't like talking about Requiem. That's okay.
That's the only
especially the Keith David scenes
physically ill.
Specifically. No, but he's great in everything, and I really liked him in this. I mean, I think
huge filmography.
What? Sorry.
I'm looking at Keith David's voice work.
Oh, it's epic.
Oh yeah, I forgot that he was Goliath from.
Oh my god!
Right?
From Gargoyles.
From Gargoyles.
That is true.
Yo,
that is definitely true.
All time, like top 10, like best cartoon. If you want to like pick a guy to like go into a battle with aliens against aliens, he's like not a bad person to pick. Yeah, if it meant like I have to fight him for like 17 minutes, I don't know. I might pick somebody else. I might just like, okay, fine. I guess you don't want to wear the glasses. Like, let me go find literally anybody else.
Yeah, he fought pretty hard to not wear them. So
yeah, I would have probably just been like, all right, fine. Like after like the first 3 punches.
I don't know. Like on the other hand, I feel like, yeah, I really want this guy on my team. These are just glasses. How hard would he fight if he actually knew something was wrong? Like, if he didn't just think I was crazy.
I actually just saw John Wick 2 recently.
I like that movie.
Amazing movie, first of all. Like, did like a standing ovation after it was over, and like everybody in the theater kind of looked at me weird. But there's a scene where John Wick fights Common.
Yeah. It's a good scene.
It's such a good scene, and because I had just watched like both movies like within days of each other. I couldn't help but think of They Live, not because like there's a white guy and a black guy and they're fighting each other.
Okay.
They were not exactly like enemies. They were basically like friends. Like they're on the same side. They're either friends or they're like essentially like
they're colleagues.
They're colleagues, exactly. And the John Wick versus Common, like where his Common's character is named Cassian. And he's also an assassin that is, let's say, on par with John Wick. Maybe not quite on that level of John Wick, but very close to John Wick's level. I'm not sure in the John Wick universe if anybody is quite as raw as John Wick.
No. In a world where the entire economy seems to be assassin based, John Wick is the pinnacle.
Yeah, he probably has an edge over everybody, but the Common's character is very close to it, and they go at each other like very hard. It goes for on as long, probably as long as the They Live fight. I didn't have my stopwatch like Amy though. So.
I mean, it's a little different though because like this is one fight, whereas in John Wick it was they traverse many different areas of the city to make that all happen.
Yeah,
let's see how many
the fight starts.
The
fight starts, and then it kind of like rolls into like different environments. But it's like it just reminded me of it because like it wasn't like two enemies going at each other. They were like basically colleagues, and they were fighting to pretty much murder each other. And they were both exciting fight scenes, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I liked it. I liked the movie for its message. The acting could have been better. I mean, one thing that I do really believe though is that a serious movie of this sort probably wouldn't have gotten greenlit.
No.
Just because of the subject matter.
Yeah, the powers that be would have nixed it. Like, oh, you're trying to make a statement.
Wink.
Yeah.
Wait, this is about us.
But like, so the powers that be are they? They're more in the government though, not really in like Hollywood.
They're in everything, my friend.
I think it's wherever there's power.
Exactly.
Okay.
I don't think especially at this point, my belief is that, and I might be giving them a little bit more credit than anything, that there's anything that they don't control.
Mm-hmm.
I really do believe that we are at that point where everything is controlled to us, and especially now we can see the underdoings of everything, but it's just like there's super messy with everything, but they don't care anymore. And that's just from being in America.
Trump's America.
Sure.
Yeah. So
actually, I was going to put something out there as the one like white person on this podcast. So there's a moment.
All right.
No. Just like trying to acknowledge.
We don't see color here.
I mean, I don't see anything. I just hear you guys.
True.
All right. So I mentioned this earlier, but there's a scene early on where Piper and Keith David are talking about essentially the American dream. And Piper's attitude is, I'm just going to work hard, work honest, and the opportunities will come. And you need to have patience. And Keith David says, no, screw that. I don't have any patience. Did that register with anybody, especially in light of Donald Trump getting elected? And
well, you're absolutely right. I mean,
the
that's
large
like
amount of white people that were like, how could this happen?
Yeah.
And everybody else who's just like, well, no shit.
I mean, that's like the Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock Saturday Night Live skit,
Bingo.
Where white America was like, oh my God, I can't believe that this happened because, this isn't supposed to happen. And black people were just like, obviously this happened because this always happens.
Yeah, because of course it did. And of course it will again. Ugh.
I think there's a lot of potential for this movie to be remade with maybe a perspective from someone who is either not
Keith David,
not white. Yeah, exactly. Either not white or not a dude. There's so much of it that goes underexplored, and in general, I'm not very fond of movies getting remade just for the sake of their brand recognition. But I think this one, there's a lot of untapped potential to it.
Okay.
I mean,
what?
The Thing got remade.
The Thing got a prequel, and it was okay. All right, so potential. Why not tell it from the perspective of, again, someone of color or someone who's not a man, and that way you can explore how people are being oppressed based on external factors, based on visual factors. I mean, obviously, it will of course be another dimension of haves and have-nots, but there's more to it that can be done, I think.
Definitely. This movie, that I was watching it and I thought to myself, like, whoa, this movie definitely does not pass the bechamel test.
Oh, the Bechdel test.
Yeah.
Bechamel? That's a way to cook, right?
I think that's a sauce.
It's a bechamel sauce.
I think I'm just hungry, maybe.
Oh,
the Bechdel test.
Bechamel. That's great. Benjamin Babish is.
What is that test?
The Bechdel test is does your film have two or more female characters that share a scene where they talk about something that is not a man? If it does, pass the Bechdel test.
There's only one female character in this movie, and she's pretty awful.
And she turns out to be one of them. She turns out to be a human conspirator, rather.
Yeah. But before that happened, that was that was the twist at the end. That's kind of the spoiler, I guess, if there's any. But
sorry, James.
Yeah, it was just fine because she was awful from the beginning. I just did not care for her at all, and I think she's also not really a great actress. I think maybe that has a lot to do with it.
Meg Foster's been better in other things.
Right? Am I crazy? She was not putting any effort into this part.
She was definitely playing aloof, but I think that was meant to be the idea.
Okay.
Exactly. Because it was she was yeah, I know. You don't know.
What I got from her character was that she was someone possibly more working class who had worked into this place of higher position, or had indeed been co-opted by aliens to do their bidding, and she bought into it. She got a taste of that good life. So
she did. I think I guess one of the red flags, if I was Roddy Piper, she lives in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills. If there's aliens that up to this point he's ran into just a few of them, but all of them were all rich. It seemed like they were all the Wall Street crowd, or well off. And I don't know, I would be more suspicious of this lady because she's obviously rich also.
But not really though, because he did the tests. He put the glasses to her. You know, he saw her through
Yeah,
the glasses.
she was
and
not an
obviously human.
alien, but
So-
also like suspicious that like, you know, somehow even though she's not an alien, she's done well for herself.
And then
Nah,
you
I think
that,
you're reaching there with that one, because it's like that's like assuming that you kidnap someone and you're like, man, this person's way too rich. This world's mad crazy. Like, what the hell? Nah, I think she's just a regular.
I mean,
person.
I think I'm just like naturally suspicious of all rich people. What?
Yeah, money. I don't.
Well, I mean, what did you do to get rich? You know, like you must have did something.
there's that other really good moment in the supermarket where like there's two people talking and one of them's an alien and they're talking about trying to get a promotion.
Yes.
And the one who's human is like, you know, is kind of like spilling his guts about it, and his friend is like, you should just go for it. And he's like, yeah, well, that's easy to say. You got the promotion.
Yeah.
So,
That's
sort of
true.
implying that he didn't actually have to work to get into this higher position, which, I mean, metaphors
As we know
don't
now,
come more
he
blunt than
probably
that.
didn't have to.
That's
Yeah,
what I
exactly.
mean. That's what I mean. It's like, yo, if you bought into capitalism, then you're part of the problem.
Oh, so you guys need to take a look at the video. It's this compilation of John Carpenter footage talking about this movie, and he specifies that the film is a tract against unregulated capitalism, but he also says explicitly, I love capitalism. I love making money. So
Yeah.
I find that a little bit hard to square, because
It's hard.
Either-
Yeah, because like that's not how capitalism works, you know?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it like the capitalism at its core, there has to be somebody to capitalize upon. So there has to be somebody that's getting the short end of the stick in order for you to like get yours. Somebody has to be like homeless. So it's like you live in a mansion, but then just know that there's going to be 100 homeless people at the same time. And that's my only thing. That's like, yo, this lady lives in the mansion, and like she's kind of like the girlfriend in Get Out. It's like you know, like am I suspicious of her? Of course I am.
Yeah.
She's white.
But you just
don't
want
have to
to.
be.
You want to believe that she's all right.
Uh-huh.
Take it from me, white women suck.
Yo, Amy.
Okay. But you know that's actually funny that he even says that, because there is that whole part in the early part of the movie that Keith David pretty much explains that whole cycle. He's like, you know, you go through this life, you know, you're told to go through it together, but you kind of have to like fuck over the next person to get ahead type of deal. So that's kind of funny that John Carpenter has that whole thing that he says is like, he's not for capitalism, but then he's kind of like, I like to make money. So that kind of reference back to that, if you kind of think about it.
I think that we live in this country, and we all take
I gotta
part,
eat.
we all
I gotta
take,
get mine before.
yeah,
I
we
eat
all
yours.
we all take part in the privileges that are afforded to us because we live here
in America,
And because that's all we know. Like, that's all we've ever known.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that part of the reason why I was kind of like hesitant to really enjoy the movie is because I just had no idea what the aliens were about.
Their goal was to blend into the populace, use our resources,
and then dip.
Why not just kill all the humans?
Free slave labor.
It's kind of like, so imagine us going over to wherever, right?
Mhm.
As a country, we go over there, we make up some lie, we go over there and we take back their natural resources.
We put in like some like pawn as like the president, and then we just have like mad sugar and bananas and coffee.
Exactly. And
So they're taking like our sugar and bananas and coffee.
yes, and they're taking
back to their home planet.
back to their world.
Okay, and they need us
Yeah.
to do like the work, like the labor.
Yeah, it's like they probably can do it themselves, but it's like one of those things like, why even?
Yeah, why not just
Right.
put a few people in power? Yeah, I mean that was the whole thing, right? Was like the alien got the promotion, right? So aliens get the promotions, they move up in the company, they take over, and they keep the humans at the bottom.
Yeah. Humans were like, as the guy was saying in the beginning that was doing the transmission stuff, he was like, he doesn't know like if they're gonna use us for like as slaves or like foods or pets or whatever, but pretty much like they're just in control. A better movie in that sense is like The Matrix, where they try multiple versions of The Matrix and how we never really responded to it correctly until they found the correct way to just keep us enslaved.
Yeah.
This one is a lot closer to reality, I think, than The Matrix, being that it's like, oh, we're just controlled by machines. This one seems like, yeah, we're all in slavery because, the upper power wants us to be this way.
I don't know. The thing about They Live is that there's a lot of pretty pointed criticism, but it's grounded in such an entertaining context, or at least like its intention is to entertain and to thrill you with action and stuff.
Sometimes the criticism gets misappropriated, right? Like with the whole like Jewish conspiracy.
Yeah, okay, that was good. I was sort of hoping we'd bring that up. What do you guys know about that?
Well, there's been an uptake on anti-Semitism that is unfortunately infiltrating. I mean, has it always been there? I feel like maybe it's just always been it's always been around, but it's been like held in check.
Not on the media.
Yeah, and then now because of Trump and because of the rise of the alt-right and all of those assholes, like people are getting a bit more brazen with their anti-Semitism. The people that are that feel that way, they misappropriated They Live to be basically a criticism on the media, because like it was the television station that was pumping out all of these subliminal messages, and according to them, because you have a gay couple on Modern Family, then that means that like the liberal agenda is being transmitted through the television, and who controls the media but the Jews in Hollywood.
Yeah, and it got to the point where Carpenter had to go on Twitter and say that, no, my movie is not about Jewish control. That's slander. My movie's about unregulated capitalism. So,
yeah, leave it up to them to like completely miss the message.
It's not even that they missed the message. It's that they decided to put the blame on another target, a wholly unwarranted target, and in a much more hateful manner. God bless America.
No one else. I'm just kidding.
I mean, anti-Semites, like just the alt-right is...
It's the necessary evil.
Why?
How are they necessary exactly?
Yeah.
It's a necessary evil because if you think about it, they were always there. We never really knew about it. They're always like conjuring, like bubbling in their own circles. So now since they're open, at least we know what it exists.
I guess. I don't know. I feel like by giving an organization like that a platform, you sort of allow more people to join up, and then it perpetuates itself. If people feel isolated for being that way, then they'll keep it to themselves, hopefully.
Yeah, but then it's now you see, this is just a huger problem that I see with the spectrum of how everything is going. It's like, okay, how do you give someone a safe space, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Let's say there's all these different groups that are coming out left and right, who are now, they actually are utilizing the time to bring awareness to whatever it is. So we allow for that to happen. But then these people here, they have to still stay in the dark because, like, they're bad. There is a negative thing, but it's still part of the spectrum.
Sure.
If you get what I'm saying. So it's difficult to say like, well, we can have like all these different things pop up, but then this, we can't talk about it.
So what you're saying is, at what point does free speech and not criticism or censorship, but you know what I mean?
No, I get you. And that's what I'm saying. It's necessary because the problem with having, let's just say, them be in the dark and no one pays attention to them is that you don't know it and you don't give yourself a chance to understand it. So now that they're open, we can at least, I hate to say it, but have a conversation and learn and kind of be like, yeah, you know what? No, it's wrong. It's really wrong, but I heard you out, you know? So by at least having that, you can educate like future generations to be like, yeah, these people are like, you know, that's really bad. It's not cool. I understand what you do it, but it's really not cool. So at least then people will be like not into it instead of, oh, like no one knows about this. I'm going to fall into this because, you know, no one understands me. There's no one I can go to talk to about these feelings I have, you know?
Okay.
Can we just go back to 2008 when we were post-racial?
No, dude, we're always racial, bro. That's the problem. It was always there. It's just that
I was joking.
Okay, sorry.
Well, if you remember from after Obama got elected,
everybody was like, "Oh, it's over.
Yeah,
Racism's dead." I remember that.
Not I. I was still getting pulled over, and like my girlfriend at the time, who was white, was still getting like asked, like, "Are you okay? Like, is this man kidnapping you?"
Whoa,
so,
man.
You know.
Yeah.
To me, shit never left. I will say things were getting better.
They were getting better for a time.
But I think was it a facade though of getting better?
No, I think that people genuinely thought it was, not understanding that there were people who, I think in no matter any situation, if you're dealing with a finite group of people and situations change, some of those people are going to think that they're changing for the negative from their perspective. That's just how it's going to be. And it's something you can't really get away from, unfortunately, especially when you're dealing with, like, we're going to talk about the election, for instance. We have a lot of people who felt marginalized and have for a long time.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, we don't like how that feels. And whether or not they agreed with his policy or lack thereof on race and religion, they were like, I like that this person says that he'll do something different because the people that are supposed to represent me clearly do not.
Not really working out for them.
We can go into that a whole bunch because it's for me it's such an interesting topic of the times that we live in. But I think we can save that for either after the podcast if you really want to.
It took a turn.
Took a turn, isn't it?
I mean, it was an organic enough outgrowth from the film itself, though.
True.
I thought it was.
Well, I think that's like the point of John Carpenter making this movie is that he was trying to make a social commentary. So it's going to lead naturally into these types of conversations, especially coupled with the fact that we live in 2017 and all this shit is happening outside of our windows. It's all kind of connected.
Mm-hmm. It's all there.
So Saiyan is home from school and he had some thoughts on the movie.
I want to know how school went, though.
Well, school is school.
We've all been there.
So we can have him join.
Yeah,
bring him on.
I'd love to.
Tell him to use the wristwatch teleportation device.
Instant transmission himself into the podcast?
Yep, I believe you can.
Wristwatch teleportation device, what?
Oh, you need to see the movie.
It's how the aliens are able to, like, kind of Dragon Ball Z their way out of, like, situations.
Oh, okay.
And also, that's how they communicate with each other.
So they have the Power Rangers communicators from, like, the old school communicators / teleporters.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Hey, Saiyan, what's up?
The ceiling.
Nice. That was a good one.
Finally, someone else who answers like that.
I have one question before we actually get into things, Saiyan. Do you listen to Lil Yachty?
Is that the guy that says like "yeah" a lot?
No, that's Little Uzi.
Oh,
Yeah,
Which is it's a common. It's a
they both got little.
Yeah.
They're I'm assuming they're both rappers. It sounds like
if you want to call it that.
Name. Oh, was that shade?
No, it's not, because he says that he's not a rapper himself. So I can't.
He's like super hot fire. I'm not a rapper.
Ooh. Spits that diamond fire. What do you know about that? You don't know about that. So anyway, welcome to the podcast, man. Obviously we're
talking about They Live.
Yeah, They Live. We heard that you had some interesting insights on the movie.
Well, he's got a completely different perspective, right? Because he's coming from this generation, or I don't know. What is your generation?
He's part of.
What do they call your generation?
No,
I don't think it has a name yet.
No,
I guess not.
You're right at the end of it. You're born when?
2002.
Yeah, you're at the. I think 2000 is the end of it.
Sorry, you're something else. The yet to be named generation.
Everyone in this room is a millennial except you.
I don't think I'm a millennial.
You are.
Oh.
I'm like Generation X.
Yeah, I think you're probably at the end of it. Yeah, you're at the beginning of millennials. So 3 people are. Damn.
Yeah. I'm like the same generation as like Ben Stiller and like Winona Ryder.
They're like the very beginning of millennial, and then like the very end.
I would not think of Ben Stiller as a millennial. Yep. That's upsetting to me.
Yeah, I'm something else. Like,
all right. So you saw the movie, right? What are your thoughts of it?
I don't know. What do you want me to say? It was funny.
It was funny?
I guess. I mean, not really.
Okay. What was the funniest part?
I don't know.
When she knocked him off the building and he like tumbled down like 7 stories.
Yes, that part. Main guy, what's his name? John some?
No,
John.
No, not even close.
John Nada.
George Nada.
George Nada.
His name's George in the short story.
No, I mean like the actor's name.
Oh,
Roddy Piper.
Rowdy
Piper.
I'm out further from what I said.
Say the whole thing every time you say his name.
Yep, you got
Roddy
to.
Piper.
Roddy Piper. That's the rule. You gotta say the whole name.
Roddy Piper.
Yep.
That's good. That was better than some other people on the podcast.
Yeah.
He was like
he's not an actor.
Not an actor.
It's very evident he's not an actor.
He's a wrestler.
But he's like definitely like pretty buff. Like there's like a scene where he's just finished doing a hard day's work at the construction yard, and he's like enjoying like a cold one afterwards or something like that.
Is he? I think he's just like packing up his like homeless like sleeping bag.
it's like homeless pack.
Yeah.
He's surviving out on these streets.
Yeah, well he even though he's homeless, like he still has enough time to like lift weights for like 5 hours a day.
Nah, man, he just does that construction work the whole time.
Yeah, he does construction work. He has enough money to pay for his due and his denim.
Yep.
Are you talking about his mullet?
Yeah.
He's like surprisingly clean for a homeless man.
A homeless man does construction work, and he's just pristine. That mullet. Sorry. It's Thursday it is, isn't it? No, it's Friday. Why is there noise outside my house? I'm gonna go close my window. We'll see if that helps at all. That is so annoying. It's not like it's like a small truck moving a small dumpster, but it keeps driving back and forth.
He knows you're recording.
He does.
Yeah.
The driver of the truck now wants to chime in with his thoughts on They Live.
Yeah.
I think so.
He looks like a Roddy Piper fan.
Uh-oh.
It actually might be. Oh no, he passed away.
No, I know.
Maybe he just has a
No, you guys didn't know that?
No, it's sad.
He's not an actor, but we shall not slander him anymore because he is not amongst the living anymore.
Speak no ill of the dead.
Yeah. Rip.
Ripperoni.
Ripperoni. Did you just come up with that?
No.
No, okay. He'll always be remembered, at least
for chewing bubblegum.
And running out of it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We're running out of bubblegum, I think.
I'm sorry. I just looked up pictures of him real quick. And did you know that in almost of his promotional stuff, he's wearing a kilt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
okay.
amazing.
He was Scottish.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
I think he actually like played the bagpipes.
Did he really?
Please tell me he didn't.
Oh yeah, there he is playing the bagpipe.
Did someone like
That's
hurt themselves?
ridiculous.
He really did play the bagpipes. That's insane.
I know there are like people in real life who, like actually play bagpipes.
Not at funerals.
Yeah.
Not in like the funeral setting. So besides like Roddy Piper's wooden acting, anything else stand out?
Holly's like random sudden betrayal.
Yeah, so
Random and sudden.
I didn't even know her name was Holly. There's only like one female character in this whole movie, so I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Like out of nowhere.
Well, what we were talking about earlier is that basically I think I was alone on this island, but I was arguing that maybe we should have foresaw her turn because she lived in such a nice house. Like too nice of a house to not be somehow affiliated with this malignant wing of
That
the
seems a little out there.
interstellar. Well, that's
Everyone with a nice house is clearly in it with the aliens.
Exactly. Yo, you have a nice house? I can't trust you.
all right.
Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal.
I just have a natural distrust. I mean, that
You
it's
have
not,
a natural distrust of anyone with a vaguely nice house.
not vaguely nice. It was like elaborately nice.
Alright, it was
If I'd have seen
pretty
it, maybe
nice.
I'd be with you, man. But I did not actually see the movie, so I can't agree or disagree.
Just from my personal experience, spending time house sitting in big houses, dating people who live in big houses, yes.
Damn. All right.
See?
I don't recommend
There
it
you go.
personally.
Okay. Carlos?
Like, unless you are like an entertainer.
I mean, she did work at a TV studio.
Yeah, but she wasn't like a celebrity. Like, she just, like, yeah, if you just work at a TV studio, like, you don't get like a mansion for that. Like,
True.
you're just like, that's a regular job. So, yeah, she's like, yo, I'm just like a producer at the TV station. And then, like, my next question would have been like, well, how the hell did you get this big ass house?
Oh, you know what's mad crazy? You remember when they met up with her again
Mm-hmm.
at the Resistance party?
Yeah.
We totally
That
didn't talk
she
about
just
that.
happened to know was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
You guys see that?
No, I'm saying we didn't talk about that.
Oh. I know, it's that. When it was she like shot Ring in the head, I was like, oh, that's how they knew. That's how they knew where the thing was. Because she was there.
Yeah. Oh, when the Resistance got snuffed out.
Yeah.
I was watching the movie. I kept thinking to myself, like, yo, like in 2017, this Resistance would have got snuffed out like immediately. Like, because we're just like, because we know now that the NSA is listening to everything we say and do and think.
Someone that probably would have like Instagram like a picture of him there, like at
Oh,
the
yeah.
Resistance
At the
party,
Resistance.
fighting aliens. Hashtag
Hashtag keep your sunglasses on.
Yeah.
Hashtag
newest fashion trend.
Hashtag stay woke.
Hashtag Magic
Stay
Sunnies.
woke.
That's a good one. Hashtag Magic Sunnies.
So
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So we should learn from this. Once the inevitable resistance has to be formed, what to do, what not to do.
don't trust people with nice houses.
Number one, don't trust people with nice houses.
Be prepared to fight somebody for 6 minutes.
Exactly.
Be prepared.
Be prepared to get in like non-essential fistfights for like extreme amounts of time, merely to pad runtime.
Keep your junior chemistry set at the ready.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Keep Bill Nye basically like on speed dial, because I feel like he would be the one to know how to make these like infrared glasses.
But what if he was part of?
Bill Nye? No, come on.
Yeah, no, I don't
You
think
don't know.
Nye
No,
or
no,
You
no.
don't
How
know.
would you know?
You don't know.
I will
You
not.
don't know.
I will not have
You
this.
don't know.
Okay, well let's boil
I
this
think
down.
that would be the perfect cover up.
Well, who would be more likely to
PT.
join the aliens, Bill Nye or Neil deGrasse Tyson? Right? We need one or both of them.
Yeah.
Who do you think would sell?
One of
sell
them
out
needs
hardest?
to be on our side.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think Bill Nye would.
Only
If he-
half of Star Talk is allowed to be an alien.
Aw.
He's a different alien. Like he's totally cool. Different type of alien altogether.
Like the rival alien.
Yeah, the rival alien.
I could probably see Tyson being part of the aliens before Bill Nye
okay. I mean, none of the aliens were black
None of the aliens.
Oh,
that we know of.
he's out by default.
that we know of.
All right, guys. Here's a question. If the elite and if entertainers, a good portion of our entertainers were in fact aliens, do you think Oprah would be one of them?
Yes.
Ooh.
I think she would be possibly one who was a human and just kind of
She might not be one herself, but
Definitely one of the conspirators.
she's been
she's living a
corrupted.
good life.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you think she affords all those cars?
How about Ben Carson?
Ben Carson?
Ben Carson?
Oh,
I
Ben
think-
Carson.
oh,
No, I think
Ben,
Definitely an alien.
no,
Ben
no,
Carson has
no,
no idea what's going on.
No,
He
exactly.
has no clue. He has like absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
He's surrounded by aliens.
I don't think Ben Carson's an alien. I think he was kidnapped by the aliens and they lobotomized him. And like a twist, like ironic fate, like the neurosurgeon got like lobotomized.
Or what if Ben Carson is just that one alien who's not too bright? He's like the one Rick from like the Rick and Morty timeline who's just not very bright. He just happens to be
The
there.
one who's Jerry's friend.
Yeah.
Man.
Saiyan's
Ben Carson is just an alien who's not that bright.
That would be funny.
So what's next on the horizon? So
Like what would he do after this movie, or like what Carpenter movies would you watch?
yeah,
next?
so yeah, which Carpenter movie would you watch next?
I could watch The Thing any day and twice on Sundays.
Saiyan, have you seen The Thing, right?
You literally ask me this at least once a week.
Hey, Saint. Today's Tuesday. Have you seen the thing?
Every time I say no, you ask me this once a week. Every time I say no, and every time you go, "What? You've never seen The Thing? We need to watch The Thing." And then we never watch The Thing. And next week you ask me again, and it's every week. It's the
just
cycle.
like, yeah, this is how you know that we're in a simulation.
A simulation. Yeah. Maybe you're the alien.
Whoa, that would be a twist.
Plot twist.
Definitely nobody would see that coming.
Another good one to watch might be Escape from New York,
Oh, that is a good one. Snake Plissken.
and also has very strong political undertones
social
to it.
commentary going on. Yeah, the president in that is not a great person.
Don't spoil it.
You're the Duke of New York. You're A number one.
We should watch it.
Before you ask,
We should.
I have seen Escape from New York.
I would gladly be a part of that. James should also be there, and to make it more fun, he should watch a movie before he does so.
I was sure you were going to say, but don't watch the movie again.
Yeah. No, that has to be a thing now where James just doesn't
Oh my
watch
god,
it.
you're right. Yeah, we should. Like,
Yeah.
Shane, Carlos, and I can actually talk about what we watched, and James can just like extrapolate and come up with something that's way more interesting.
I like that formula.
He can come up with like the alternate universe movie about how this is just like his fantasy, like Pliskin's fantasy being in prison on all manner of drugs. Just like imagining this is his escape and what he does with the rest of his life.
You know what? Let's put a pin in this because I kind of want to watch these movies.
No, you can't watch it.
Well,
Must
Not
be
until
everything
after
for
the podcast.
Yeah.
You record the podcast and you get to watch it afterwards.
Don't
Yeah.
take this from me.
You must obey.
You guys are the
That
aliens.
sounds good. Let's pick a movie to watch and forbid him from watching it.
Yes.
All right, guys. I want to thank you, Amy, for coming on the show.
Yeah, happy to be here.
And
You are in the cult now.
yep,
All right. Cool.
I want to thank you, James, for coming back as well,
Thanks for having me, guys.
and thank you, Sam, for like dropping in.
Yay.
You know, it's always a pleasure.
I'd like to thank the Academy. I'd like to thank Sidewalks for keeping me off the streets.
Oh,
Nice. Oh my
how
god.
long have you been holding on to that? I feel like it's been a while.
And my legs for always supporting me.
I like this kid.
Gosh, you guys. Shout outs to us, obviously. You can find us.
Shout out yourself.
Yeah, you can. I'm about to do it right now.
That's
Watch.
the rules.
Allow
No,
myself to
watch.
shout out myself.
Yo, shout out to me.
No, man. I'm just trying to wrap up the show and do our shout outs so people know where they can go and find like all this awesome material.
That's not really a shout out. It's more of a this is
Sign out.
Yeah, sign off.
Shout out
Sign
to
off,
my
sorry.
superior intelligence.
I would like to do
Okay.
an informational shout out followed by a closing shout out.
Yes, exactly. That is exactly what I'm doing.
A thesis shout out.
A conclusion shout out. You have to restate your claim.
Oh my god, you guys are killing me. It's good though. So
Try not to throw your voice out shouting out.
so yeah, you can definitely.
Shane, how about just like just like let the people know where they can find us.
That's what I'm trying to do. You can
How
find
long can
us.
we keep this shout out segment running?
Oh my god!
How many
forever.
times can we interrupt Shane?
We should have an entire episode that's just an attempt to shout
You know
out.
what? We could just.
It's real easy. There's just like 3 places: SoundCloud, Stitcher, iTunes.
Yep, at Art School Rejects, and you can find us at artschoolrejects.com.
Oh yeah, you've been working on that website.
You
Not
guys got a
working on it.
website?
It's finished. It's done.
Ooh, I'm going right now.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can check
guys
it
got a
out.
Website.
Is
It's
it the
fancy.
artschoolrejects.com or is it artschoolrejects.com?
It's artschoolrejects.com.
I don't like how this thing's insulting my internet like right when I get there.
Yeah, you got that too?
Yeah. Dude, I'm on fiber optics over here. What are you talking about?
Fuck you, and also please check out our podcast.
Signing off.
Out now.
Get home safe.